Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Probably one of the hardest things that I've had to overcome is my sugar addiction. And by sugar, I don't mean like bread carbs, I mean like sugar carbs. But over the last few years, I have learned how to find healthy replacements for the things that I love. And today we're going to be making one of my all-time favorites, and this is a low-carb cream cheese chocolate pound cake. So you don't want to miss this one. Stay with us. Okay, so we're going to mix up our dry ingredients first. First, we're going to start with 1.5 cups of almond flour, and if you can get it finely milled, I couldn't find any, so we're using just the regular grind. But we're going to mix it all really well, and it's going to have some clumps, but you know what? Regular flour does too. It is A-okay. And then we have 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. I'm just using regular cocoa, but you can use dark chocolate cocoa if you want to, whatever your taste preference is. This is just what makes it chocolate. Well, that and a couple of other things. All right, so I'm going to get those good and mixed together and use my whisk to try to get some of those clumps out, but it'll be okay. Cakes sometimes have clumps, right? So now we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. No special baking powder required. Baking powder is just baking powder. And then we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt right in the top. Now I'm just going to get that nice and combined. And then we're going to set our dry ingredients to the side. Now we're going to start with our wet ingredients, which always starts with sugar and butter for a cake. So we have 4 tablespoons of room temperature butter, or 1/4 cup rather. And then we have 1 cup of sugar substitute, granulated cup for cup. And I'm going to use my hand mixer and just cream these guys together. Just until it's nice and fluffy. And I think I misspoke. It's not 4 tablespoons of butter. It's 1/4 cup of butter, which is half a stick, which is more than 4 tablespoons. See, I'm so anxious for this cake that I just lost my head. Okay, I got those nice and good and combined. So now I'm going to add in, and this is where the 4 came from, 4 ounces or 1/2 block of cream cheese. And we're going to give that a mix. And that'll help kind of move things along with that butter and sugar. All right, now we have 4 eggs, and we're going to add those one at a time. And mix well after each addition. So now, one thing I like to do before I start to add my dry ingredients is I like to scrape down the sides. Even if I'm using a stand mixer, I always scrape down my sides because invariably, no matter how much liquid we add in here, I always end up with it caked up on the sides. And you probably do too. So this is a good rule of thumb right here. And then I give it one more quick mix. Just on kind of low speed. Just to make sure that what I scrape down off the sides is well incorporated. All right. Okay, over here on a low burner, I have about 1 ounce of semi-sweet chocolate chips and just about a half a tablespoon of butter, so we're just going to get that melted. That shouldn't take very long. And you can do this in the microwave as well. The butter is not necessary, it just kind of helps make the chocolate smooth out a little bit more. So you could totally just melt the chocolate in the microwave by itself and do it in 10 to 15 second bursts. But because I wanted you to see what we were doing, I figured I would do it right here and how quickly it melts. And I like doing this right before we mix the dry ingredients in because this is going to follow the dry ingredients, and this way the dry ingredients kind of help pick up some of the eggs that we just added in case this is a little too warm. And if it stiffens up on you, you can always add just a splash of heavy cream, but that's melted enough for me because we're going to blend it in. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients in 2 stages, just so we don't make a big brown cloudy mess. There's the last of it. Now one thing, this cake, you certainly just want to treat it like any other cake and you don't want to over mix it. So before it all comes together, again, we're going to scrape down the sides. Then I'm going to add that melted chocolate in. And the chocolate doesn't have to be loose. It just has to be just kind of melty, or, you know, no longer solid. Now we're going to mix that in. And I just slung it everywhere. What would the day be if I didn't sling cake batter everywhere? But isn't that a pretty, pretty cake? I mean, it's just, you won't be able to tell because we're using cup for cup ingredients that mix and incorporate so very well. Okay, so I have a loaf pan that I have buttered, and my oven is preheated to 325 degrees. So we will pour this into our loaf pan, using our spatula to make sure we get all that good cake batter, because we want it all. And then I'll use my spatula to kind of spread it out. Get it in a single layer. Kind of clean up the sides just a little bit. And then with clean hands, and you know, before you start any cooking adventure, you know, clean hands are where it's at. So that way, if you touch your utensils or have to do anything like you've seen me do today, you can do that knowing that you have done it with good, clean hands and are confident that everything is going to be okay. All right, so this guy will go in our 325 degree oven for anywhere from about 60 to 70 minutes. So I'm gonna cook it for probably 40 and check it, and what we're looking for is an internal temperature of 205. So every oven is different. While we give you loose variations on cooking time, it is dependent upon your oven. So anytime you're baking, if it says a 60-minute time, check it at 30 or 40 and see where you are, and then go from there. So we're gonna put this in, and I'll check it at 30 or 40 minutes, and then we'll be back when it's nice and cooled and done, and we will show you how to ice it. So stay with us. Okay, so we're back. Our cake has completely cooled, and I've put it on the platter that I'm gonna serve it on. So now let's make the wonderfully delicious chocolate ganache. Okay, to a boiler, I have 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 ounce of baking chocolate, and I'm just using chocolate chips. And over low to medium heat, I'm gonna melt that butter and that chocolate. And the reason why we wanna let our cake completely cool is so that it will actually kind of set up. The ganache will kind of set up on there. All right, now that we have melted, I'm going to lower the heat to low and let that continue to melt. And then I'm gonna add in 2 hefty tablespoons of confectioner's sugar replacement, and I'm using Swerve, and I'm gonna remove it from the heat. Okay, and add that in. And then we're gonna add in about 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. We might possibly need 3, we'll just see how stiff we are. And we'll give that a good mix. Nice and shiny. So now I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of avocado oil. And this just gives it just that little bit of nice sheen that we want to keep it nice and shiny. I'm gonna clear off my space here. Move my cake up here. And we're gonna make sure that that confectioner sugar is nice and has completely well, there's no lumps in it. Then I'm just going to take my whisk and just kind of smooth this out over the top so that it kind of runs down on the sides. And then we just let this set up, which shouldn't take very long in a cool house. But if you wanted to be like me and you didn't want to wait, we're gonna cut a piece. We're gonna cut a piece and take a bite. So I'm gonna get a knife and a fork, and we're just gonna do it right here on the platter, right here on the platter. This recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We would love it if you would give us a visit there. Also, while you're there, make sure that you sign up for our VIP email list so that you can get all of our recipes first. All right, now let me just swap cameras. And we're gonna cut a piece. I'm just gonna take this end piece right here. And I just want you to see how pretty and moist that cake is, and that it's done all the way through. We ended up cooking it probably about 50 minutes, and I checked the temperature with my internal thermometer, and it was 205. So let's give it a taste. Mmm. 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 It's everything you want in chocolate pound cake. Absolutely everything you want. It's beautiful. It's sweet. It tastes like cream cheese, chocolate cream cheese pound cake, which is what you want, right? So we hope that you will try this recipe and love it as much as we do. So pretty. It's even better if I had let the icing set up. We hope that you'll try it and love it as much as we do, and figure out, just like we have, that you don't have to miss a thing. There are lots of nice replacements out there for the things that you love, and you can have what you want and still watch that waistline. So make sure you're following us on all of our social channels, and if you want all of our videos in one place, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. When you go over there, look us up and ding that bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. I can't wait for Big D. He's going to be so happy, and he just got here. So we love y'all from here at the Buttered Home, and y'all, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.